Oshun, alanga la fila fuye, alanga la ferrakayere, Oshun la fila fuye, alanga la fila fuye, Oshun, alanga la fila fuye, alanga la ferrakayere, Oshun la fila fuye, alanga la fila fuye, Oshun, alanga la fila fuye, alanga.
Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Ninti's Heart Chakra. This is the Inner Child series. This is part 2, the abuse part. This morning, I was just meditation. I just tapped into the energy and I was taken here. I had other plans, but God was like, no, this is where we're going. So this is where, I've been taken to, and I said, since I'm in this emotion, I just might as well go ahead and deal with it. This is a complete download. I'm taking notes as I go along so I can go back and make the slides, because I'm just going with the energy that I've just been brought into right now. Because I just had an awakening. I had a realization that even through like this healing process, we still have wounds. And I was just forced to sort of kind of look at my wounds. And I realized that my wounds, they're scars still, because even though I've healed a part of it, a lot of it within myself as far as abuse, my pain now is for others. My pain now that in my heart is for the young girls that I know that's going through this, some as we speak, and that's where my pain is. And wanting to be able to stop it. I've cried tears, over just knowing that, it's a sick world out there, and people are taking, there's young girls and young boys that are being sexually abused. That hurts my heart, and the peace that God just gave me is that you may not be able to stop it, but you can heal it. And that's what brought me here now. This has to be addressed. Okay, so abuse. Abuse can play in many forms. That was just talking about sexual abuse, but I'm gonna deal with physical abuse, first. Okay. And just realizing too that most abusers, this is not an excuse, but most abusers have been abused. Okay, so let's keep that at the forefront. Okay. Also, I'm going to go ahead and click in the prayer here as well. So this is the prayer we're going to use for this healing, okay? And as far as God is concerned, I'm not a part of any particular religion to choose or to limit myself in that way. I'm for everyone. So I'm here to help heal everyone, no matter what you call God, what your religion is, what book you go to. That is beyond what the work I do here. Everyone has a heart. Everyone has gone through pain. So when I say God and use God, by whatever name you call him, whatever relationship you have with him, whatever book you use to connect with him, that's on you. Okay? But this is the prayer. O Most High, you are my sustainer. You are my parent. I am your child. I seek refuge in you from my own disagreeable deeds. I acknowledge your favors to me, and I acknowledge my disagreeable acts. Forgive me my disagreeableness, for there is no one and no place I'd rather be than with you. Please take my pain and restore my soul. Amen. Ashe, so be. Okay? All right. Physical abuse. I'm going to do physical and verbal. I remember one day I was, this has been years ago, and I just heard, somebody, just cursing, like, bring your ass on, who you think you are, it was just really like this verbal attack, and for some reason, something just told me to look out the window, and I did, and it was this woman talking to her child who was maybe 1 or 2, who could barely walk. And she was dragging him along, and she was cursing him out, and it was just so sad to me. Like, I was like, oh my God, so another thing, is understanding people are there's a lot of people that should not have had children. Like, we're born into situations, and, a lot of people, two people, that should not have had children, okay? It's also coming to me to bring this into from a spiritual level, because I want to make peace on all this and in everyone. Let's first accept the fact that we've been abused. Okay? We were taken advantage of. And let's accept that and make peace with that. And know that that is a part of our journey. This is a part of our testimony. This is a part of our story. This is who has made us who we are. And we have gone through those things, and it has made us stronger. It has made us, we're damaged, but it has made us who we are. It's a part of our story. These are the cards that we've been dealt, unfortunately. So we have to look at that, not allow it to be a hindrance, not allow ourselves to continue to be a victim, and release that. Release it and understand it and accept it, that it is a part of our story. And I know that the things that I went through was so that I can sit here today and share in my healing process and help heal others. So you went through what you went through for a reason. And I know that doesn't bring a lot of solace, and a lot of people don't want to hear that, but this is your story. This is your script. We can't go back and erase it. We've got to accept that this is your script. This is how it was played out, your life. This is what it has been up until this point. And yes, you were abused and you were a victim at one time in that script. But we're moving to where we're no longer victims, okay? We're releasing that victim mentality. We're healing that victim inner child feeling of being a victim, okay? I felt that was important to come in because I don't want, that's just important to realize, like, let's accept it. We can't, release a part of it before we even go into it, and accept that this is our story. These are the cards that we've been dealt, and we're going to deal with them, and we're going to play the best freaking game of life that we can with this hand, and we're going to play to win. Okay? All right. Physical, verbal abuse. Like I said, that's an attack. Most of the time, that's someone projecting their anger upon another. Someone who they feel is weaker. Someone they feel they can take advantage of. So they do it physically by, beating, attacking physically, or verbally attacking and trying to hurt that person. Okay? And it's all because hurt people hurt people. Okay? All right, that's, like I said, just basic, physical, putting your hands on somebody, and I've been there, in my relationships, unfortunately, not proud to say, not proud to admit, but in a couple of situations, I have been the abuser. I have been that physical abuser. I have mates that I have, yes, put my hands on. And it wasn't until, I met what I call my karmic soulmate, who brought out the lowest, darkest parts of me and knew how to push buttons that no one else had. He brought that anger out of me. He made me see that within myself. This is how the abuse was coming out of me, that I had been abused, And, one day, he was older, and I guess God had to make this happen in this way. He was older than me, he was in his 50s or whatever. And, he had set me off. And I remember beating him with a Swiffer brush thingy until it bent in half, and I'm beating him across the back. And I just snapped and realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, if he has a heart attack and dies, I'm going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So I realized I had to deal with my anger. You know, he came into my life. I was never the same person after him. I had to release that part of myself because he was that person that could have pushed me to the complete edge. And he did, you know, I'll talk about some of that later, but yeah. This is that person that came and took me to the darkest of the dark. So we can even be that, is what I'm saying. I'm sitting here telling you that I sit on both sides. I sit on the side of abused and abuser. You know what I'm saying? My children, no, I wasn't, you know, they probably got spankings or whatever, but it wasn't like that. You know, verbal, not directly. You know, I could go from 0 to 100, but I would never attack them. I would keep myself from attacking them. You know, I wouldn't allow myself to curse at my kids, you know, because I had seen this thing, you know, and that was, my kids were younger at that time, and I was like, I will never do that. Like, that's awful. So I was conscious about certain things when it came to my children, but when it came to men, that was out the door. That was out the door. That's where my abuse was generated, because I have been hurt by men. You know, I mean, you can see it. You get that reflection. Okay. That's physical and verbal. All right. I'm gonna have to go back and take notes because I see now I'm gone. So, sexual abuse. Let me just say this. And I realize my scars here, you know, like I said, comes with the pain of me knowing that there are young girls going through this, knowing that, you know, just my deep feelings towards certain things, you know, like my feelings that I have about young girls being looked after by any freaking male. I'm completely against that, like completely. And that may be wrongly judging some people, but that's just how I feel. I don't feel a male of, if it's not the father, I mean, you know, and I'm not 100 on that, but you know, if it's not the father, any other male looking after a female child, I'm against. You know, I'm against. So that's just my strong feelings on that. And I realized that's just part of my scar, because that's what basically was done to me. You know, I was put in the care of a family member, young family members. They were in their teens. You know, me and my other little cousin we were probably 8 or 9. They were like 15, 16. And, you know, we weren't put in their care per se, but we were allowed to be around them alone, unchecked, without anybody really paying attention, because my aunt lived at one house, 3 houses down was my great-grandfather. And they would come sit with my great-grandfather, and me and my cousin, my aunt would send us down there to take something or whatever. And, you know, she wouldn't really pay attention that we were gone for an hour, you know, she wasn't really paying attention to that. So this is what I'm saying. Please pay attention. Please pay attention, for our daughter's sake, for her son's sake. Pay attention. So yeah, that's, you know, where it began. It happened. Like I said, we were 8 or 9. You know, what happened during the summertime, you know, and, you know, like I said, it stopped. I was probably 8 or 9. Then I was put in his care again when I was I was getting ready to go to junior high school. I think he was a senior in high school, and I had to go to band camp, and band camp was across the street from where they lived. They had now moved, and where they moved, they lived across the street from the school. So my parents, for me to go to band camp, my dad would drop me off in the morning, And, you know, I would go back to sleep, go lay in the bed, but his mom would leave, and his mom and dad would leave, so I would be there sleeping, he would be there, and the next thing I know, I'm being taken advantage of in my sleep at 14 years old. Okay, yes, this shit happens. This shit is fucking real. Okay. So, no matter how it happened to you, no matter your story, we were taken advantage of. Yes. In our weakest point. And some of the people that we loved left us vulnerable. You know, and we have to forgive that. You know, we have to forgive that. I had to forgive my parents and all of that. And not only that, like, I told my mom when that happened, like at band camp, like, I told my mom, but I saw the shit begin to spiral so out of control because she needed to call my grandmother. Like, it was, you know, like, this shit was going to a whole nother level fast and quick. You know what I'm saying? And I got scared. And I was like, no. I said, maybe I'm tripping. You know, I turned it completely. I'm like, you know, I might have been sleeping. You know, I don't know for sure. You know, and I told my mom it didn't happen. Pretty much. But, like, parents, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I had to forgive my parents, you know, for not knowing. You know what I'm saying? They had, that shit didn't cross their freaking mind that that was a possibility. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame them because they just didn't think. My aunt, she didn't think that that would happen. But what I'm telling you is I mean, I feel that when you have young males that are in the peak, and you know, I was taught this by my Jamaican godfather, like, when you have males in their peak of their puberty and you allow young girls to frolic in front of them innocently with shorts on, you know, it's innocent, but it's like sending lambs in front of, you know, a freaking lion. I mean, like a lion, and telling that lion, like, you know, this is your cousin, so don't bite. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, it's a situation I feel men or whoever should not be put under that. You know, I feel like I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't feel like any young man should be put in that situation and have to control themselves to that point, because I don't feel they're able to or old enough. They should. And I'm not saying every freaking body's out here molesting kids. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, damn, I got scars. I got scars. So that, I guess, my scars come into my suspicion. You know, that's what God is showing me, that, you know, even though I've healed it in myself, because I had to heal and forgive him, you know what I'm saying? And how I came to that was years later. I mean, I saw one of them 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we hugged and all of this, you know, and all of that. I'm proud of him and everything that he's doing in his life now. And, you know, the other one, I had caught wind that he had gotten a bad accident and had broke damn near every bone in his body. And God just let me know, like, okay, that's rectification. Let it go. You know, like, these people will pay. They're not going to get away in life with hurting you. And just everything going to be good. Okay? It's not. They will pay. And the same here. We will pay. You know what I'm saying? And I had to face mine. I had to face my inner demon. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. A lot of us that are sexual abuse, you know, we do go through a time period of being very promiscuous. That's what that turned into me. I became very highly promiscuous in my teenage years. And probably from the age of 14 until 22, 21, 22. I was highly promiscuous for those, what's that, 14 to 22, 8 years. You know, like it just manifests in a lot of ways. You know, these scars are deep. These are deep scars, and they come out, I think, in everybody sort of kind of in a different way. Because I'm getting now, you know, because I feel like this is from a female perspective, you know, and now I feel like I gotta go from a male perspective. And what it does as far as stripping the manhood. Whether the abuse came in childhood, and I know a lot of abuse, you know, for men that are incarcerated, that happens. So that's an aspect of sexual abuse as well that has to be looked at and discussed. But, you know, for anyone that is taken advantage of in that way, it's a violation. Period. It's an invasion. So that's the first thing. That no matter who you are, what you are, you're going to feel violated. It's an invasion of you, your being. So it's that feeling of, you know, like I said, men a lot of times it strips them of their manhood. I know particularly, you know, men that have been raped in prison, I have seen, you know, or have, you know, if it came across as rape or it started as rape, it can manifest, you know, just as being, you know, bisexual or whatever when it comes to being in jail and being able to mentally disassociate with the idea of being gay. That's deep if you think about it. But yeah, I'm trying to receive the download. Like I said, it's about it strips a man of his manhood. And, you know, there has to be, you know, either, I was shown that either it's a complete release of the manhood, or, you know, which a lot of times that comes out as, it can come out as homosexuality. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Or it can manifest as, you know, bisexuality, you know, is how we're seeing it. I'm just calling it how it's being seen, played out in the community. Okay. And, you know, so you have people that partake in that because they have been open to that through this, and has tapped in to that abuse and being violated, you know, and it just passes on, you know. But like I said, either there are men that I feel try to hold on to their manhood, and they try to hold on to their manhood by overdoing certain things, like screwing everything that's not tied down, to try to prove by them screwing everything that's not tied down, they're trying to convince themselves, I'm a man. Okay, that's a technique that I've seen used. Well, one of the main ones that I've seen used, you know, but it's like an overcompensation of manhood to try to deal with this internal feeling that the manhood has been stripped because of this sexual abuse or these sexual activities. Okay. A healing of that, you know, it definitely goes, this is deep healing. Like, I can't even go through all this on here because it's layers. This is layers. We're peeling off layers of like an onion. Okay. But it's about forgiving. It's about forgiving yourself. It's about forgiving others. It's about, like I said, these steps are going to be the same. I'm going to keep showing these same steps, okay? It's about acceptance that this happened, that you participated in these activities. It's about unconditional love for yourself. It's about knowing you have unconditional love from God, regardless of the fact. Ain't no conditions on the love, okay? You do have to understand that, you know, boundaries, you know, that's where the boundaries come in. If you're trying to, if you're trying to regain your complete manhood, that's what I'm talking about, and no longer, you know, participate in certain things, or, you know, if this is your choice, you know, if this is your mental choice of where you're trying to go to heal this, then, like I said, the boundaries, putting up the boundaries around those things, those places, those whatever that perpetuated that activity and that way of thinking, cutting yourself away from that, and then a rediscovery of who you are as a man. Okay, these are all steps of restoring your manhood after there has been some type of sexual abuse. Okay, and I just try to go through it as simple as possible. All right, and that applies to everyone. Those are the steps that are gone through with everyone. You know what I'm saying? Is, like I said, for forgiveness. You know, knowing a lot of people are scarred, hurt people. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to heal yourself so you don't hurt nobody. That's all we can do right now. Okay, acceptance that this happened. We can't go back. We can't erase this. We can't undo. We can't do nothing. But accept that this is how the script played out up until this point. Okay. Then we got to have unconditional love. We got to know that we got to love ourselves regardless of all this shit. God does. Okay. And then we got to put boundaries around whatever, whoever, you know, that perpetuates this, or things that we may do as a result of this. We have to remove ourselves from that and rediscover who we are without without this victim mentality, without without feeling like a victim and being violated. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. That was a lot. Oh, I give thanks to the Most High for that. I give thanks. I hope that it was able to help you. I hope it was able to, you know, help you release some of this abuse. Like I said, this is deep, heavy stuff. I'm so heavy right now. I mean, I see where I'm gonna have to definitely go release this, because this is heavy. But I hope that in me sharing, that it was able to help you in some way. Like I said, I will be opening to have one-on-one sessions with people to help go through these healing processes and getting this heavy sexual abuse energy off of you. Okay? Peace and love to the family. Please like, share, subscribe, because I know this information can help people. I'm here to help people heal. Yeah, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.